to be asked one after another.
Right.
There may not be a gap. All the 5 members, first chairman, then other members will ask. So he is just going through your.
The hobbies you are fully prepared, which is very typical hobby of you.
Trekking is the common one.
Practicing. What is this? Vipassana meditation. Definitely, this is an area. This is actually practicing.
Yes.
So, what are the benefits of this?
So I'm able to clear and concentrate on my thoughts and remove the clutter which is there, and it helps me improve my efficiency.
Would you propose meditation as a compulsory curriculum on the schools?
So not a compulsory thing, but yes, this technique should be definitely taught to the people. So if they know that it is beneficial to them, maybe they will continue with it.
Okay.
A very small introduction from my side. Kumat, right?
Kumat. Yes.
Kumat, okay. You do this Vipassana meditation, right? You heard about the Vipassana meditation being implemented in Bihar jail?
Yes, sir.
Right. The only successful meditation which has the most profound, it means few inmates it has performed, right? Now the question from us, if I'm just putting it, right? Do you personally feel that it means hardcore criminals can be reformed?
So the idea behind this particular meditation is to see that everything is impermanent. So that is the case with all humans, right? So if hardcore criminals came to realize, and every moment they see their death, that they also, whatever their anger, their rage, whatever emotions they are having, that is also impermanent. So if they are into those shoes, they will definitely have some change of heart. And if that continues for some time, I think...
What about the habitual offenders?
Habitual offenders. Yeah, so that is also a habit, right? Doing offense is a habit. So while doing this meditation, you will get to know that this is particular thing, this sensation which is coming to me is causing me to do certain things, right? Many a times, let's say we open our phones, we go through all the apps, and it's like a mechanical thing for us right now. So it's a habit, it has become a habit. So when you do an intervention for yourself that no, I will now let go of some technology for some time. I will not open these apps. So that is an intervention. So this could be an intervention for those criminals.
Two things. Is this Vipassana resulting in positive intervention?
Yes.
One. Number two, is this intervention almost changing into habit? Is that habit permanent? That's a question. Two things.
So intervention for one will be positive because they will get to know that whatever they are like rage or any sort of criminal activity they are doing, it's particularly harming themselves first, right? So the first intervention will be positive. About sustainability, because these habits are very well ingrained in our way of doing things and way of working, it is difficult to sustain it because it will need some willpower from the person itself. So we'll have to with that person, work with that person and continue it for some time and make sure that he loses that habit and picks this up as an habit so that the transformation occurs.
Very good. That is the case. What is your stand on capital punishment?
Capital punishment should not be there because it has, God has given us this life, and who are we to take that life away? And many countries, progressive countries, have removed this particular type of punishment. In India also, Supreme Court has sparingly used this particular way of punishing people. So I think slowly this can be phased out, as Law Commission has also recommended. So that way, capital punishment is not. I am not in favor.
The longer you want to,
yes,
you look for the dissipation of it.
Yes.
Right. Okay. You also have a hobby of playing table tennis.
Yes, sir.
Table tennis. Okay. Now see, whenever I talk about this table tennis place, right? What I understand, normally East Asians particularly Chinese and Koreans, they dominate. Is there any genetic plays a very important role in determining the kind of the sports what they play?
So there is a branch of anthropology known as kin anthropometry, which is particularly about selecting people for particular sports and training them to excel at it. So I will give you an example that why Jamaicans are very good runners, because they have parallel knees. So it gives them an added advantage. So similarly, there could be some genetic factors which are making East Asians excel in table tennis. But I think I am not aware about a research which has been conducted on this, and I will definitely look that up.
Fine. Now you're working?
No, sir, I left.
2017 you left.
Yes.
Okay. Completely you're doing full time you're preparing.
Yes. Sir.
This is the first attempt.
Yes. Sir.
And again, it was taking the clue from the answer. Right. If at all, if you're just employing that section of genetic which almost determines the kind of sports that can be selected by a region, right? What sport normally you recommend for people of India? Or one more question, let me define it. Can you recommend one sport for entire country, or within the country you want to almost go for different regions and you say that this region or this people coming from this region is known for this sport or they may excel in this sport? Is there any stratification like that you have?
So, not right now, but because India is a melting pot of races, so there are many different ways in which the race crossing has happened in India. So, different sports can have different regional or ethnic hegemony if we groom people in a particular way. So let's say the Siddhi tribes that we have, they have African origin. So it has been suggested by a few anthropologists that those tribes can be groomed for athletics and those sports which require to run fast and for faster endurance is required.
But athletics itself. East African versus West African, there is a change. Yes, almost completely there is a change. When you talk about Jamaicans or the settlers from the West African region.
Right.
When you talk about East African region, they are mostly known for their endurance.
Right.
Long distance. Yeah, long distance, marathon races. West Africans, they are known for sprint races. Right. Similarly, taking the same clue, if I just say India, only two regions I find that means people who are normally coming from this region, they are excelling in this sports, right? Where the physique is involved in it, right? For example, if I talk about state like Haryana, right? If not, I'm there in northeastern states. Only two places we have concentrated sports people coming from, right? Extraordinary situation, we have people coming from Kerala to right? Otherwise, normally we find that in general, a lot is missing in other states. Right. Any reason why?
So, if you take the example of Hyderabad, so that particular place has become a nursery for badminton.
Only for badminton.
Similarly, Ajmer has a table tennis academy called Petroleum Sports Promotion Board. So many people, including our veteran Sarat Kamal, has been groomed at those academies. So I think these kinds of academies should be brought up and concentrated effort can be made, so that people from all over India who has interest in those sports and taking help from kin anthropometry and other kinds of genetic studies as well, we can have a focused intervention towards that particular goal.
So the direct question, is Indians generally fit for competitive sports?
Yes, sir, I think so. Generally, they are fit if they continuously do the regular exercises and regular requirements in order to be fit. So there is no problem as such genetically, but we have to do away with lethargy and have to stay fit. As we can see, our cricket team, they are doing the yo-yo test and now their fitness is all-time high as compared to earlier times.
But yo-yo itself, what do you think? Yo-yo, it's a narrow kind of definition for fitness.
Yes, but for cricket, it has been working fine. So different sports can have different definitions to being fit. So I think proper resources, proper intervention, proper concentration should be made so that we can excel in areas.
Final question. what about your stance in Dhoni being the part of this World 11 or World Cup playing? You advocate Dhoni, or you want any replacement instead of Dhoni?
I would think that Dhoni will be a good person in the team because he is a team player. He might not be a captain right now, but he is a pseudo captain in a way. He keeps the team together and ensures that the temperament of the team is towards winning. So I think I will advocate.
Good. Thank you. Okay.
You are making it into a formal interview.
No, I round up.
I was on a different mode.
So this was an informal meeting you had.
That's how I'm taking. But anyways, that good set of questions that you asked. Why anthropology? You study about the culture. So how is this blend? You have done technology one side, the other side you have done culture, studying about culture. So how is the experience?
So it has been a wholesome thing for me because while studying technology, it was all about numbers, and you don't get to see the humanistic aspect of life that much. But when I studied anthropology, like I started with the book Sapiens from Yuval Noah Harari. So it provides a brief history into humankind, how everything originated. Like we used to live in caves, and then slowly we developed the capabilities, and what we are today. We just take it for granted that we have developed so many tools for making our life easier. But it has taken a lot of efforts, a lot of civilizational knowledge has been input to it. So I think that is what makes me feel very great after studying anthropology.
So Indian culture is a boon or a bane for development? What is your view?
So Indian culture is a boon for sustainable development, I would say. So, I'll substantiate. So, we, from starting, different people, different types of people, civilization has been living in India. So, whatever steps that we take has an inclusiveness in it. We take everyone's viewpoint and then proceed towards a particular solution. So, but there have been some instances like untouchability and other such practices in which some people are marginalized. So that can be said as a bane for those people which were there.
So what has been the government of India's stand on tribal policy and tribal inclusion policy that we're talking about?
So in tribal inclusion, Government of India has taken an integrationist approach since the time of tribal Panchsheel, which was given by Mr. Vallier Elvin and Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru. So that approach has not exactly been implemented, but we are regularly trying to
but in the case of sentinels, Jaravas,
yes,
that is called Jaravas. In the case of sentinel tribals, I
Yes.
don't think the government of India is really following that integrated approach, the Panchsheel that you're talking about. They have always been treated exclusive. Their areas have been completely prohibited areas. They have never been able to take part in the developmental efforts. The whole idea of Panchsheel and the integrated approach is that tribals should be able to take part in the developmental efforts. But I don't think sentinels were given the opportunity for that. And today we have a very countable number of sentinels. And same had happened for Jarava tribe also for long. Only of late they started interacting with the civilians and started coming out.
So the idea behind tribal Panchsheel is to develop the tribals along the lines of their own genius. So for that, first we'll have to connect with them. And efforts have been made through different anthropologists like Triloknath Pandit ji, Dr. Madhumala ji, who have tried to connect with those tribals to understand what they want, whether they want to be part of the development or not, because that is what the idea behind tribal Panchsheel was. So once we do a concrete connection with them, then only I think we will take them into the development fold. Because just because imposing our development that we think this is development will not be the right way to go.
Is technology a part of culture or it is not a part of culture? Technology.
So technology is a part of culture.
What do you call that as?
So as in?
What do you call that? How do you name it?
So it is, you can say, fruits of culture.
It means one of the leading questions what I have. So it means what sir has asked technology and culture. See, if I'm just putting it as technology and society, okay. Do they have a close correlation between them, or they are distant two individuals?
So I would not say they are distant individuals, because technology and culture, I think, shapes each other.
It means they are more symbiotic in each other.
Yeah, they have an effect on each other. Maybe positive, maybe negative. That depends upon culture to culture.
What is that gap called? What is that gap called? There is a gap between the two. What is that called?
Sorry, Simon.
Being an anthropology student, we get cultural lag.
You can say if the culture is not able to adapt to the technology and getting vanished, it can be said. But that culture then gets transformed in a way.
So the focus of the current government seems to be paradoxical. The way I look at it is, one, on the one side, we talk about Startup India, Stand-up India, we talk about bullet train, we talk about Make in India, all that, all technology on the one side. Very progressive kind of schemes. On the other side, okay, we seem to be very regressive. Talking about construction of Ram Temple to all your Namami Ganga. What is that project? Namami Ganga project. To all that. We talk about all that. So on the one side. So on the one side, the current government seems to be progressive. On the other side, it seems to be regressive. So being a technology and a culture student, how do you look at it?
Sir, a particular government is works as per the aspirations of the people. People are the ones who elect them, give them the majority based on the manifestos and the promises that they have done. So I think the wholehearted approach here of the government is to ensure that India is on a progressive path, and whatever sensitive issues that people feel should be taken care of are on the agenda of the government. So I would not say that we should not go for technology because it harms culture, or we should hold on to culture because some technology is not good for us.
So do you think there is a...
We need to find a middle way. Like you can take the example of ISRO that was envisioned at the early stage of our independence. Today we are all enjoying the fruits, and it is helping us restore our culture as well, and also it is helping in the poverty alleviation programs as well.
So how do you think Sabarimala issue has been handled? Yeah, in the last question.
So Sabarimala issue is in the process right now. I don't think it has been handled fully. We are looking toward a sustainable solution for the temple entry. But this particular way of in the night women are being entered into that could have some backlash from the people, because they are not taken into discussion, as you can say. It has been imposed on them. So like has been done in the Shani Shignapur temple in Maharashtra, I think a overall inclusive approach can be taken.
Court ruling, and that the Supreme Court has given the verdict that any women can enter the temple at their will. That is the case. What level of discussion is needed from the people?
Sir, a particular verdict given by Supreme Court needs to have a transition period, right? As in the case of Haji Ali, we have seen in Mumbai that the Haji Ali board told the Supreme Court that give us some time, give us 6 months, so that we devise a strategy, we devise a formula, so that women can safely enter into the premises of Haji Ali Mosque. So
it means you are recommending, it means a kind of a, say for a gestation period, a kind of a gestation or window period is needed. Right.
So that both sides can come at a middle stage.
So women should have stayed patient is what he's saying. Women should have stayed patient.
No, what is the conclusion from your side? What is your main point? Do this, or at least this menstruating women should be allowed or not?
So as per gender equality and as said by Supreme Court, I don't see any point why they should not be allowed. they are also devotees of Lord Ayyappan, so I think they should be allowed. But a review petition is being filed in the Supreme Court, and I think we will be more enlightened after a verdict comes.
We will stop this.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So now normal practice is about 30 to 40 minutes. So since we have already taken about 40 minutes, we do not want you to be subjected to much longer discussion. But having come all the way, I also feel satisfied that various types of questions from various angles have been put to you, and both of them have put some more questions which I did not raise. Now what happens is, if a social issue comes up, you can always say that let the social issue be decided by the people. Why should it be politicized? Because one way of answering it, it's very difficult to say which is right, which is wrong.
Right.
So people like T.N. Sesson have said, no, faith should not be interfered with. And they have written long articles also on it. On the other hand, Supreme Court says, no, exclusion is against Article 14. Therefore, you cannot exclude people just because they belong to a particular age group. And strictly speaking, there are any number of pills which if you take, the woman will not menstruate. So what does that mean? If she takes those pills for 2 years, which is that that family planning tablets, she will not menstruate, so she can go. So this is how there is no rational, there is no reason as to why after all a woman can be a mother only if she is in that, otherwise she is barren. So how could you say that such a, and there is no other temple where such, so there are many arguments of, but best thing to answer is that this is a social issue. Let the people of Kerala decide. Supreme Court has said yes. Legally speaking, this is the status. Now let the people, why should the politicians go and meddle there? If the large number of people decide such women should not go, let them not go. There is no compulsion. The politicization of this is same is case with Ram Mandir. Ram Mandir, if two groups were fighting, let them fight. Let them get whatever judgment the court gives. But why should politicians go there and hijack it? So it is, it can be answered in one way like this, that social issues should be left to be decided by the people, society at large, instead of politicizing it. Politicization has created, even Kanchi Shankaracharya went all the way to Ayodhya, he could not manage because after some time he said, let the politicians go, you can't manage it. He came back. Because every politician has his own view.
Right.
And there is convergence of view is very limited in all democracies. Look at even in which the Labour Party and the Conservative Party are fighting in UK. The whole country can go to dogs. Even then the opposition leader and the Prime Minister are not meeting. Prime Minister says something, opposition leader says something, and the struggle goes on. Therefore, these social issues should be left to the people to be decided if we follow. And rightly, as you said, stick to that point that better always follow a middle path. Let us not go to the extremes. After all, this Ayodhya Ram Mandir. When was the Mandir there? Is there a photograph? Is there any proof that on this particular land, piece of land, Ram was born? Ram was born in India, yes. He is Prince of Ayodhya. Agreed. But on this particular piece of land, he was born. What is the proof? So there are so many ways of arguing it. Unfortunately, these issues are being hijacked by politicians, which there is no need for them. That is one way of. But I am, as I understand, they may not ask question on this because general practice is to avoid questions on caste, etc., and also religion. General practice. See, I was called to this. We have this interview, for IAS promotion. I was a member of that in this in Madras Secretariat. When I was Revenue Secretary, I was a member of that. I did not go to UPSC because I became a member of CAT. As a CAT member, I cannot sit. But I am supposed to decide a dispute. Supposing tomorrow you are a professional and if you have dispute, first place is to go to CAT. So I did not go. And moreover, it was only 1,000 rupees, in those days. Who will go to Delhi for 1,000 rupees? Yes. Right. For sitting. Only Delhi man who can drive from his home to UPSC house and come back. Now they have made it 3,000. Even 3,000 also, who will go from Madras all the way unless he has got some great prestige? So But this Madras, because I was secretary here, a member had told us that we will not ask any question on these issues. So probably you may not get. But quite likely, because you are anthropology and all, the normal practice is also avoid your domain knowledge. That is, nobody will ask you a question on mechanical engineering. Very unlikely. But they may ask questions like this: colonization of data. What does that mean?
Right.
Why so much of fear? What happened to our data? Who is keeping it? Where is it? For what purpose it will be used?
Right.
Things like that. Or weaponization of space. That's a new area where questions may come, because you are an engineering student. They may ask, they may not. Similarly, of course, from the economic side, it can be economic nationalism, like Trump and all. So these are areas where you prepare yourself, depending on whatever the question is. Please see that you answer them to the extent you know it. Otherwise, you quietly ask, sir, can you move on to a second question? Right? And with a smiling face, with the members, keep eye contact with the chairman and the members, depending on the questions being asked. And while leaving the room also, wish them leave the room. So this is all, but very difficult to sort out questions on, because on the morning itself you should see the newspaper.
Right.
See, now there is a big controversy about this NIA investigation into Jagan Reddy, you know, that YSR son, he was attacked by somebody in Vizag airport.
Right.
Now, government has ordered an NIA inquiry. Chandrababu Naidu is objecting it, saying on what authority you are doing it. Same question was asked to me even 50 years ago when I went there in 1969. Use of CRPC and CRPF in state. At that time, you know, this West Bengal government refused.
Okay.
Annadurai in Tamil Nadu and Ajay Mukherjee in West Bengal, they refused, saying that we do not want CRPF, you take them away. Where will they go? Somewhere in India they will be stationed, you know.
Right.
They said we don't want their camps to go
There
from our
should only be a
land.
central force, not. There should only be a central force, they said, is it?
Central are here.
Okay.
You see, India, the central police force should be stationed somewhere, you know. Where will be stationed?
Right.
Yes, West Bengal government, Tamil Nadu government, they say we don't want, take them away. Because law and order is our. Same thing is now coming back. Because the misuse. Why should, what is the great big thing has happened in Andhra Pradesh that NIA should investigate into a small minor law. So the credibility of the institution, credibility of the force should not be misused, should not be denuded because of this behavior. If a question at all is asked on, you know, they are accusing CBI inquiry, etc., you can always say that the credibility of the institution would have been maintained. Even now, this has also happened in case of, unfortunately, the judiciary. They send a name panel and then they are calling it back. Though you can say, if the question is asked, you can always say, though we are not the judge. The judges are the best person to judge who is most suitable or not. Merit is not necessarily the best. Seniority is not necessarily the only criteria. Yet, the question is the credibility. After all, the credibility of the institution, people's credibility in the institution should not get diminished. If the behavior, see, politician is different. After all, they will be there for 5 years. They may not be there after 5 years. But the judges have to they have to decide what the judges say. Then the legitimacy of the judicial decision will go away. Why should people, in fact, these decisions like Sabrimala should not have been pronounced by them. But somehow they have pronounced right or wrong, such as pronounced, let it go. But point is, if questions like this are asked, better to say that the whatever may be the method or whatever may be the response of the institution, but their legitimacy, their credibility should not be compromised. Unfortunately, in instances like CBI and all, has happened. So with this, we close your discussion with us and hope you make it to IAS. See, after all, I was also like you one day when I went and I did not see even beyond Odisha. I was in Odisha. First time I went to Delhi. At least you are from Delhi or you are living there, you know it. The Dolpur house where it is, I did not know even. In those days, people are not going on. Only by train we can go. Second class train, sometimes you don't get a ticket. So with that also we made it. Hope you will also make it. And very nice that you came here. And this is a big institute. This is a good institute. There's so many experienced faculties and good teaching and all. Hope your visit will be fruitful. Wish you all the best.
Have tea.
Have a cup of tea.
Can I have tea and then so let me check with this sir. So I messaged him already. If possible, the same IRS we can meet.
You casually came.
So I was going to attend a wedding here. So I thought like in the morning I was free.
You have any doubts, you can ask.
Still was supposed to meet him and then he came prepared. Only thing is suddenly he had to go somewhere. But I think your number is anyways here, no? So you are going to be in Thiruvanmiyur area only. And he is near Thiruvanmiyur area only. So I text him already.
Right.
So somewhere when both of you can catch up.
When is your interview?
Some restaurant.
March 13th.
Good enough time. Last batch.
Almost.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Many positivities are there. Just go with the positivity.
First mains or first interview?
First interview. First main.
Mains.
Attempt itself was doing first.
First mains. First attempt itself. So still IITians okay are that real foreigners.
Yes.
First attempt they make it.
Nowadays, in our days, very few. But now, mostly engineers. You will see in the academy, if you go there, 90% will be from engineering background.
79, they have thrown open to other streams also, sir.
Yes.
Before 79, it was only for humanities.
Like, even engineers were there,
Awesome.
but not doctors. Doctors and
1988 they are not. Doctors they are not from 1988. Doctors are not very late.
doctors were not there earlier. Now, but I am surprised to see, the other day some boy came. He is a BDS doctor from Ramanathapuram. He has not gone anywhere. No institute. Yes.
That itself is a plus. If you are making some deliberate mistake, it means on the face of it some mistakes happen, then it's a point to be worried. Okay. Opinion. Anybody can have any opinion, only thing is that it has to be justified. That is one.
Right.
And number two, this opinion should not hurt anybody. Okay. And having an opinion of that sort itself is very difficult. The only thing is that we have opinions. So the best way is to have a middle path. Right? One thing I have just appreciated, one question I appreciated. Right? It means when you said it means at least some kind of period, time should be given so that they can also look at what exactly can be done. That is what all about. It means since Supreme Court is delivering it immediately, it should not be implemented. It may not be implemented because completely, see, it is a kind of a cultural shock what they have. And complete tradition, Supreme Court says no, that is null and void. That cannot be accepted. The only thing is that we cannot present it in such harsh language. Instead, we can put it very beautifully. And it means all of a sudden, like a thunder it came. Right. It is very hard to digest. So let's give some time so that they will also see that how exactly it can be modified, it can be amended, it can be implemented. Right. That way, taking a middle path is fine enough. And that doesn't mean that for all things you have to take a middle path.
Okay.
Right. That is it. Vipassana I am satisfied. Because see, exactly I don't know whether it means Vipassana can definitely means permanently it can almost reform a person of God. But it is all about belief, right? It is all about hope. Right. See, one person believed. Vinoba Bhave believed. Right. He transformed the Vinny. No others believed. They did not transform. As simple as this. Right. So opinion based, I don't have any. What is it means? I don't have any other opinion. It's okay.
Most of your answers, you are talking with a conviction.
Yes.
One thing that I could see. Second thing I could see was you are drawing analogy. It's a very good thing. You see the way the other temples were handled. You were giving some examples.
Right.
That's again a very good thing. Thirdly, as far as that culture shock what you use.
Right.
You use that word, but you use one. Like while your answer was good, you use this word. All of us, otherwise you study.
One more word also you use.
Anthropology, sociology, we use that word.
Right.
Culture shock.
Yes.
You are expected to use. So this came as a culture shock, you can say.
Right.
So therefore, you need to empathize on the other side as well. So maybe when you use that, it makes your answer more professional. That you can do.
Yeah, maybe a selection of word. I like a moment. In the sense, you use this word called a pseudo captain, right?
That was a very good thing, I don't know. Somewhere I was feeling that will be taken very positively.
No. So pseudo-prophecy. When leadership is very weak, then comes pseudo-capital.
Understood.
Then comes pseudo-capital.
Nevertheless, what I personally felt was like, see, I am being a cricket lover, Dhoni lover, maybe I liked it. Maybe I could also be biased, but you very nicely put it. But one thing you did, patience, everything you put, but the experience that he brings, you didn't use that word. I was looking for that word, experience.
So he is also.
And now being answer coming now at this context, now that he being given man of the series, look at that, such a old guy getting man of the series, there are young guys, you can cite that as an example. Even the recent example I saw, like the man of the series, and how still the potential that he retains or
He is still younger than Tendulkar.
That's the reality.
No, your presentation expression is good because the background is the good English.
Good English language, that's coming up very easy.
God will impress. Only thing is, maybe you may not show your hand too much.
Okay.
Once a while, quite all right, while explaining, but try to just remain normal.
Looking at everybody only, and he also looks at everybody else.
So it should not, that should be, just don't show the hand too much. Once, twice is fine. Otherwise, it's good. Hope you will do well because last year also the boy who came first, Drishti or his name. So that boy also came one day we were also discussing like this. He came on this type only we were discussing. But I knew from the discussion itself, he's a bright boy. He is anthropology. His subject was anthropology. And he is quite bright.
First, he came, he had just come down for mock.
I did it on Skype. But I did it on Skype. So
cool. Time was there. Time was there. So he can be cool. And how many newspaper you read daily?
That is important.
But right now I try to read Times of India and Indian Express.
Times of India. I don't know whether Times of India will help you out or not, but Hindu and Indian Express will help you out.
No, Economic Times also.
Economic Times.
Should,
that's the three paper normally what they advise.
Okay.
Even today in Hindu there is a beautiful article by one retired professor of political science from Delhi University about religion and politics. Beautiful article. Some lady, I think, in Chandok or something.
Yes, there's a very good book by on contemporary politics and socio-economic politics. Very good. It's a compilation of different essays. Read that book.
You go through 3 newspapers, right? At least 2 newspapers daily. I think it should be sufficient.
And Wikipedia also. All your doubts. Though Wikipedia entries may or may not be authentic, sometimes some uninformed person might have wrote something. But at least the basic information you get.
Okay.
Now, one question I remember was some 2-3 years back. Who is Mr. X in international relations? I just couldn't imagine what is Mr. X. But then it was found out there was somebody in 1946 who had written a book on containment of communism and all. Yes. It was found out only from. So it helps. See, these things are not there in our days. All that we had only in newspapers or this Manorama yearbook or something like that.
Right.
Now recently, of course, now you have asked that. So hopefully you will do well.
That sports question is known. The genetic thing, unless you are sure, the theory don't stay. That answer alone, I was skeptical only about that answer because there is a theory that genetic, I don't know, really genetic is there if you know.
But don't go into that.
Something is proved in that.
Genetic is proved.
No, some theory has said is the relationship between sports and genetics.
Yes.
If that is, if it is.
There are people, they are consultants who will study your genetic profile and they will suggest that in which field you will excel.
No, but is it well established?
Yes, so there is a branch of anthropology known as kin anthropometry.
Okay.
And
so
it has
now with current sports persons, for some people it is proved. Any example is there so that you can cite?
Was it an empirical study?
Any empirical study?
Yes, sir. For Jamaican runners.
Because whether sports run in families, if you ask me, I have not seen sports running in families. Sachin Tendulkar's son has not become a very great player. Sunil Gavaskar's son has not become a very great player. Sri Khan's son has, at least one sports that I know. I have not seen.
Padukune the film star.
Neither in tennis also. In tennis also you tell me. Because I have not seen, see, if you say something is genetic, it should run in families. Suicide runs in families.
But Amit Raj,
Cancer runs in families, we can prove. But can you like that prove some sports which has run in families?
So it's not as if that sports runs in families. Not
No,
there.
there is a families.
There can be a genetic advantage to it, and you have to train and give motivation. There are many aspects to one person being a good sports person, right? So gene can be one aspect of it. There needs to be sufficient training, sufficient motivation, sufficient willpower from that person as well. So it's not just genes. Environment also plays a role.
Always that nature nurture controversy.
Right.
But I'm only worried about with respect to sports nature. Forget many other things I have also read. With respect to sports, is there a genetic relationship between sports and what do you call it? Between the say one's biological background chromosomes and the sports? Is there any study or some prominent study done or something is there? Means you will have something to quote. If somebody raises this question.
Rather than individually look at it, we can look at it the ethnic background, like sumo wrestlers. Sumo wrestlers. So one kind of genetic pool will have sumo wrestlers because they need to have very huge bodies, right? So that's why.
Yeah, like that you can cite example. You can give an example of an ethnic community or race. That is not an issue. That is what I'm asking. When I say running in families, I only mean that the extended version is race or ethnic.
Right.
So like that of Indians, what are they known for in this sports? No sports they are known for.
Sir, wrestling we are very good in wrestling.
In terms of outsmarting, I'm saying. If something would have been running in our race also, what is that we are known for? If this question is asked.
Question can be asked,
Like this.
can come.
Yes.
Like to say genetically, if you look at badminton, why it is dominated by Asians? Is it possible to genetically connect them with badminton? Probably not. Similarly, table tennis dominated by Chinese, tennis dominated by the Europeans, and Americans are great sports person in other areas, but they don't play cricket or things like that. So whether this genetic connectivity, but of course if you are saying that not only genetics but also his willingness to play, his commitment, his training, mostly I would say.
Sometimes very difficult to defend.
Yes.
Just rather than getting into it is what my suggestion is. But then again.
But you can say the Chinese example is, it is a regimented way of forcing young boys and girls to go for sports, giving them money, giving them training, and that is why they have produced. There was nobody in China. When I was a student, there was no Chinese sports person. In fact, we are winning gold medals in hockey. And today you see next to America is China. In maximum number of gold medals. Forget about world sports. Totally. So think over it. In case a question is asked, empirical study shows that it is the specific intervention by the government with money, incentives, other things can also produce. Genetically it's alright. We are not disputing that. But beyond that also, it is quite possible. But then that is not possible in our country. Because in their country, some certain amount of regimentation is there. They will force the parents to send this boy or girl for this.
Everything is state sponsored.
Yeah, right.
Even to sell their product, state sponsored is there. That is state sponsored capitalism is, that is like that in every aspect. In sports also, that element is missing in India actually. Anyways, you will get a lot of exposure to another interview. So this element, but for it, I don't think any of your questions was controversial.
Also, table tennis player.
I played during school time.
They may ask you where it started. In which country table tennis started?
Incidentally, it started in India. British soldiers were here. They used to play table tennis.
Table tennis origin is India.
Yeah. Incidentally, British soldiers used to play it in India, and then it was taken to Britain, and then it was popular.
In a similar way, East India Company people came and played cricket in India.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean cricket emerged in India.
Yeah, right.
So I just want to know from where it came, because Cricket origin is Britain. Those people came, they said it's an officer's game, gentleman's game. So East India Company were the guys, the first to teach cricket to us.
It will be
that
East
doesn't mean
India
cricket. We are the originators of cricket. So be very clear, because tennis, I still doubt table tennis. What you are saying?
Table tennis, British
Hockey is
soldiers
something
used
to claim. No.
Place of origin.
Huh?
Place of origin in India.
Anything?
Place of origin.
Is table tennis. Oh, that's enough. Like if it's a fact, then okay. Because everything the people like reading between this line is there. So be prepared for this.
Yes.
When about Sarakam is a very good.
Yes,
He's somewhere around 37.
36, 37, yes.
Almost the age of 15. So he is the one who is almost playing for India still.
Okay, so India.
Yeah, he's spearheading our
Achha, so then fine. I'm saying this is a clarification.
Good, all the best.
All the best.
Okay.
Definitely.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you.
All the best. Wish you all the best. You will definitely succeed.
Thank you, sir.